today I decided to do something I wanted to do for a while. I dug up my granddad's old sketchbook from different periods of his life. And the oldest drawing in this sketchbook here goes back to when he was 12 years. And that is all the way back to the 1930s. So this is the sketchbook here is almost 100 years old. And to me, the sketchbook shows me that my granddad was very talented at drawing, but more importantly, it shows me that he was fond of drawing his surroundings, from cultural stuff, imagery that was around him at his time, to drawing his actual physical surroundings and daily life. So in that way, we have a lot in common. He passed away in 2018, sadly, and I feel a bit sad that I didn't get to kind of share all my sketchbook with him or talk more about drawing and that stuff. But yeah, this let's take a look in this sketchbook here and just pause for a moment and look at this old drawing here of a Disney. It's actually a stamp collection sheet here, and you can see here how the colors are kind of offset. That's kind of funny. Let's take a look. An old mill, and this must be when he was a kid almost. Look at that house in color pencils. Car. I love those trees. Looks a bit grumpy, that man driving the van. Someone making a clock. Someone painting some flowers. Very precise outline here. Could it be that he had been copying stuff, or jungle? It says here, bird. And yeah, my granddad was also very good at handwriting. He did several signs for kind of different events, birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. He was very good at making signs, actually. And, also these kind of this font called Gothic. There's that kind of font, and also like handwriting, lettering was his thing. Here we have a native people shooting. Is that like a poisoned arrow or something like that, or kind of a shooting with a thing? Here it says 12 years, and I'm guessing that this would be a copy, like a tracing from a magazine or something like that. It could be. Again, 12 years old. And this is funny. Afraid of the geese, it says here, and here it says apple hunting. I love the colors. These are definitely also kind of comic characters. I don't know from where, but I love the expressions. 12 years again. Incredible. And here it says life or death. I love the font, and I really like the composition here. Also looks as if he's been tracing something, because I mean that way of representing anatomy is very accurate, and I find it hard to believe that he made that up from his mind as a 12-year-old. Really cool expressions. Snow White, probably. And a comic book-esque scene. Almost like Laurel and Hardy. I remember him talking about working in Norway at some point as a lumberjack. So these could be some of the first observational drawings that he actually did. And I don't think that he's a child anymore here. Not that I'm sure. And there's another thing that's kind of fascinating about my granddad had an interesting life in that way, that he had many stories to tell, and he lived through many things as that generation did. But one of the things that he talked quite a bit about was, especially as he got older, was the time when he served during the Cold War. Look at that. Crazy eyes. But yeah, during the Cold War he served, and I got curious when he talked about these things, and I started to ask more questions, and he was willing to talk about it because, I mean, he was always a great storyteller, and he liked that. He liked to tell stories, and I liked to listen to them. And it became clear to me that I wanted to make a comic about his life because it was so interesting, and it was a personal story combined with a piece of Danish history, or even world history. And there's a car. Dahlgren, it's called, as a slang for like these old school American cars. We have Popeye up here. And Norway again. Where was I? Oh yes, a piece of history, world history. But alas, my granddad was also a very stubborn person, and he had kind of sworn an oath to the Danish military to not tell anyone about what he experienced during his time in the military. And look at that beautiful sketch here, by the way. Wow. Ballpoint pen, simple, graphic strong, the landscape, the houses. So cool. A boxer. Wow. Amazing sketches. But yeah, so he swore an oath, and so he took his stories with him to the grave, the most secret stories. But I did have some wonderful times with him where he told me stories about his childhood, his youth, and of course his time in the military. And it went so far in my research that I actually asked a guy in the Danish military to hear if it was okay for me to, or for him to tell his story. And it was approved. It was approved that he could easily tell about them, because, I mean, those things that happened during the Cold War is not a secret anymore. It's like, it's a public, how do you call it? It's not a public secret anymore what happened. But I guess he was afraid to kind of put his name out there, and I wanted to kind of have the whole thing out there, the whole truth, the whole story. But a thing about him is also that the reason why he was hired in the Cold War is that he was extremely talented at shooting. So he became like a test shooter of weaponry during the Cold War. So that was kind of his job. And also he had some interesting stories about the paranoia he experienced during the Cold War. Cars following him, shadowing him, little tests that were put out to see if he was alert. This was when he served in the military as a Royal Lifeguard. I can tell by the marks here. Gas mask must be like kind of an exercise. And here you have a nap time. Purely observational drawing, I can tell. And look how well he captured the expression and the gesture of the soldier here, and the bag hanging down here. Wonderful sketch. And this is probably my favorite sketch of all in the book. I don't know, I just love the way the line work is and the gesture. And I believe that it must have been like something that he recalled from memory, walking behind this guy with the bag and all, with all that equipment. And also this one is very lively in expression. Caught some cows here. So regarding the comic, I don't know if it will ever be a thing. Probably not, because I mean the stories, I don't have them. I have a few, but not enough to make a comic. So I would have to make up quite a bit. But that's also fine. I loved to listen to the stories. So Granddad, amazing sketchbook. And I hope that you find it okay that I shared this with the whole wild world. I don't think you mind at all. Yeah, that was my granddad's almost 100 years old sketchbook. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, folks, have fun drawing.